Hello, my name is Mason Van Valkenburg, and today I will be presenting the way intelligence is measured with infants and young children. What is intelligence testing? Intelligence tests are assessments that are able to measure a wide variety of cognitive functions, including the different aspects of what intelligence is. And these assessments can be used across different age groups, different cultures, and on the basis of other significant factors. And these assessments can be used in multiple situations, but for this presentation I'm specifically going to be focusing on intelligence testing in regards to infants and children. The importance of measuring infant and child intelligence. Measuring intelligence in children and infants is useful in a wide variety of ways. Such in one way is measuring potential for academic performance and school success. And then also it's useful for measuring the potential career performance for future careers. And also measuring intelligence can be useful in regards to measuring health and wellness concerns such as disabilities and things like that. Reinforcement has been found to be significantly useful in testing. In one study conducted by Fish, found reinforcement specifically useful when looking for the limitations of an individual in regards to reinforcement. And one significant advantage that was found was that when using reinforcement, the researcher was able to influence the motivational levels of the individual, and also on areas more specific to focus on for the test. And another interesting finding that Fish found was that particular reinforcement positively influenced the performance of the participants in certain areas. Effects of intelligence on emotional understanding. One study conducted by D'Stasio, Fiorli, and Chasio found that the combined influences of verbal ability along with fluid intelligence significantly impacted a child's emotional understanding, which shows that understanding intelligence can also be diagnosed on an emotional level. And D'Stasio also found that some of the primary skills associated with the recognition of mental emotional patterns or abstract reasoning skills, specifically. The WISC-IV Intelligence Test. The WISC-IV Intelligence Test is an extremely useful instrument in understanding intelligence in children and infants, and it's been used by many researchers throughout its establishment and has gone through many changes over the years. And Mackenzie, Murray concluded that both the WISC-IV and the CADES-Q are both able to yield significant and interesting results. But they did find, however, that the CADES was the preferred method of assessment over the WISC-IV due to the shorter size of the CADES and that it required little to no previous knowledge or training to utilize this form of assessment. The Cattell Infant Intelligence Scale is another popular means of analyzing infant intelligence. And the methods of this intelligence assessment involve the utilization of different toys presented by the test administrator, and then the interactions with the infants and these toys were then observed, and then results were made based on these observations. And these actions that were measured included both active and inactive actions, as well as deliberate and indeliberate actions, to see which actions had significance. And Young concluded that this type of assessment, although it might be somewhat limited in its validity and reliability, and should not be used when making final conclusions, but he did find use in conjunction with other sources, such as health, hereditary, and home environment, in making claims. An interesting aspect of this test is also that it has the ability to be utilized with other age groups in addition to infants. There are many other forms of instruments for measuring child and infant intelligence. And for children and infants that have limited ability of speech, using nonverbal forms of assessment would be more ideal in these situations. Basten, Van der Ende, Timmer, Althoff, and Ridglersdam, Jadot, and White examined children with dysregulation by utilizing a nonverbal form of assessment and made several interesting findings on the intelligence of these children based on using a nonverbal form of assessment, as opposed to using a different form. Some other forms of assessment that I found interesting in measuring child and infant intelligence were the draw person assessment, which is used by many children and can find many different interesting findings on intelligence. And although the validity and reliability of these findings is also, like many forms similar to the draw person test, being a projective assessment, has limited validity and reliability. But it can be possible to use as a starting point for further assessment when used with children. There are several cultural issues to consider in intelligence testing, because across different states and countries, the cultural differences can be extremely significant in changing the way that intelligence is measured in these different areas. Cantor concluded that the primary benefit of school psychologists in regards to testing is their ability to directly assess the interactions between these students in the educational process in order to meet the individual needs of each student more effectively, revealing that school psychologists are able to play a significant role in helping deal with these issues regarding differences and the cultural differences in intelligence. Ziegler and Butterfield examined the intelligence of children attending a culturally deprived nursery school and found an increase in overall IQ, which was due to the reduction of debilitating motivational factors rather than to changes in the rate of intellectual development. So in this study, it was shown that the main factor in intelligence was improving the motivational factors. Measuring intelligence among disabled or handicapped children. Brain and Massling found that for verbally or educationally handicapped children, the Binet, Wechsler scales, Arthur scales, and draw person assessments were the most utilized. And I mentioned before in a previous slide that this is mainly due to whenever the children have troubles verbally communicating themselves or expressing themselves, then the nonverbal assessments might be more effective. In measuring infant intelligence, the Cattell and Jessel scales were the most effective. And for measuring preschool age children, the Binet scale was more successful. Ramin, Brown, Kerr, and Rickards found that spoken language ability had a significant impact on the intelligence test performed on deaf children and adolescents. These are the references.